places to go. Castles and candy houses, 7 blind little mouses, many places to go.
Charlie and the chocolate factory, bears eating lots of bunny.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Come and read with me, many places to go. So come and grab a seat and read a story time with me.
A world made by your imagination. Flying carpets and 100 Dalmatians.
No, wait, that's wrong. There's actually 101 Dalmatians.
Time kids, it's Taylor and I am going to read you a really fun book called The Mud Puddle. It rains a lot here in Belgium, so this book should be very relatable. The Mud Puddle. Jule Ann's mother brought her clean new clothes. Jule Ann put a clean new shirt on, buttoned it up in the front. She put on clean new pants and buttoned them up in the front. Then she walked outside and sat down under the apple tree. Unfortunately, hiding on the apple tree, there was a mud puddle. It saw Jule Ann sitting there and it jumped right on her head. She got completely all over muddy and even her ears were full of mud. Jule Ann ran inside yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me." Her mother picked her up and took off all of her clothes and dropped her into the tub of water. She scrubbed Jule Ann until she was red all over. She washed out her ears, washed out her eyes, even washed out her mouth. Jule Ann put on a clean new shirt and buttoned it up in the front. She put on clean new pants and buttoned them up in the front. Then she looked out the black door and she couldn't see a mud puddle anywhere. So she walked outside, sat in her sandbox, and the sandbox was next to the house, hiding on top of the house where there was a mud puddle. It saw Jule Ann sitting down and it jumped right on her head. She got completely all over muddy. Even her nose was full of mud. Jule Ann ran inside yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me." Jule Ann's mother picked her up, took off all of her clothes, and dropped her into a tub of water. She scrubbed Jule Ann till she was red all over, washed out her ears, washed out her eyes, washed out her mouth, washed out even her nose. Jule Ann put on a clean new shirt and buttoned up the front. Then she put on clean new pants and buttoned them up in the front. Then she had an idea. She reached way back into the closet and got a big yellow raincoat. She put it on and walked outside. There was no mud puddle anywhere, so she yelled, "Hey, mud puddle!" Nothing happened, so she yelled even louder, "Hey, mud puddle!" Jule Ann was standing in the sunshine in her raincoat and getting very hot. She pulled the back of her hood and nothing happened. She took off her raincoat. As soon as she took off her coat, out from behind the doghouse, there came the mud puddle. It ran across the grass and jumped right onto Jule Ann's head. She got completely all over muddy. Jule Ann ran inside yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me." Her mother picked her up and took off all of her clothes and dropped her into a tub full of water. She scrubbed Jule Ann till she was red all over. She washed out her ears, she washed out her eyes, she washed out her mouth, she washed out her nose, she even washed out her belly button. Jule Ann put on a clean new shirt and buttoned up in the front and put a clean new pants and buttoned them up in the front. Then she sat beside the back door and she was afraid to go outside. Then she had an idea. She reached up to the sink, took a bar of smelly yellow soap and she gave it a smell. Yuck! She took another bar of smelly yellow soap and gave it a smell. Yuck! And she put the smelly yellow soap in her pockets. Then she ran out to the middle of the back of the yard and yelled, "Hey, mud puddle!" The mud puddle jumped over the fence and ran right towards her. Jule Ann threw the bar of soap right into the mud puddle's middle, and the mud puddle stopped. Jule Ann threw the other bar of soap right into the mud puddle, and the mud puddle said, "Ah, yet, whack," and ran across the grass, jumped over the fence, and never came back. The end. I hope you guys really enjoy the story about a mud puddle. Have you guys ever been able to play in a mud puddle? It's really fun, but be careful because then you have to take lots of baths. I hope you guys enjoy the story, and I will see you guys in our next story time video.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
When something's starting out, we'll
Bye.
often say hello.
And when we're
Goodbye.
in the middle of something, we might say that's fun.
But when something's almost over and it's winding down,
We'll look at each other and we might say goodbye.